Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a layout to share for Bramble Fox. I'm using a number of different sets. So this Love Much set, which has two titles in, I'm using the Love Much. The February Fox box, I'm using the word adore plus some of the little grey arrows. And this XOXO set that has the XO title plus all the little bits. And this stencil, which is the Fox cut number 88. So that's a lot of different sets. But I have this beautiful photo of my little boy who absolutely has my heart. So I thought that Valentine's collections and products would be ideal to scrapbook that little photo. And actually, I've remembered a story that I must write on. I haven't actually written any journaling on this layout, but he always talks about, when he talks about his heart beating, he says, "Mummy, my heart is beeping." So I absolutely love that. So I'm going to, straight after I've recorded this video, I'm going to go and write that on the layout so I remember that little story. These generic photos are perfect for little stories like that. Anyway, okay, so I'm using the Simple Vintage Love Story collection by Simple Stories, which is a vintage kind of Valentine's-y collection. It's got lots of books in it, which is lovely. Yeah, I'm just using a number of different products from there, nothing specific really. Anyway, so I'm starting off with a pale pink piece of paper for my background, and I've trimmed it down, distressed the edges and popped it onto a piece of white card to give it a border. I love a pale pink background, I think it works really well. And I wanted to do a little bit of stenciling onto the background, and I didn't have the perfect colour. I really needed like a burgundy colour, and I don't believe there is a distress oxide in that colour. If there is, I don't have it. And I was scrapbooking with friends at the time and nobody else had it either. So I'm not sure if there even is one, but if there is, I don't have it. So I had to kind of do my best. So I used a mixture of two different colours, a pinky one, and then I added a bit of purple over the top to try and bring in the burgundy colour. It's not quite the right shade, but it doesn't look bad. So I'm going with that. And I've gone very light with my stenciling. It's very pale, so you can see it. Clearly you can see it there, but it is quite pale, and it's the fact that the colour is matched isn't perfect, isn't the end of the world. So I have this really lovely photo. It's very white background, so I haven't actually given it an edge. It shows up so well against the pink background. So I'm just trying to create a little cluster over to the left hand side. Over on the right, I've got my titles, so I decided to stack my titles. I've got Love Much, Adore, and I've got the XO title as well. I just thought that because it's a generic photo, I could put lots of titles on this layout. They're just words, aren't they? And they work really well with the photo. So that's the angle I decided to go for on this occasion. And I've also got the little viewmaster as well. That is from the February Fox box. And I have a number of little bits and pieces that I'm going to use as well from the XOXO set. So I've got that XOXO up there, you can see it. I'm going to back that with paper to make it stand out a bit better. Sorry for the view of the top of my head there. Okay, so I'm just putting so just creating that cluster over on the left hand side. I've got a journaling card, I've got some tickets. The tickets are not from this collection, they are from 49er Market, I believe, and a friend gave me some of those, so I thought I would use them. I've got a wax seal down the bottom there that I'm planning to incorporate somehow. Again, a friend gave that to me, she made those. Thank you, Kiri. And it was ideal to go with my collection, this layout that I was making. I'm really sorry that my head keeps popping into view and the camera keeps focusing on it. We're just going to have to battle through, I'm afraid, because I can't redo it, but there's not a lot I could do about it. I clearly need to adjust my position and sit further back. Noted for next time. Okay, so you can see got my three titles stacked. I've got a bit of a cluster going on the left hand side. I'm fussy cutting out these beautiful cameras, and I've added two grey strips. They are also from the February Fox box. They are 2 little phrases. I think there were 3 in the Fox box. I've used the tab that says "This Life" and hearts on either side, and then I've also used these moments, which is an arrow, and the arrow is pointing towards my photo. It does get moved at some point, but I just wanted to create a little cluster at the top right as well. I just felt that everything was quite heavy over on the left, and I liked the shape of the top cluster kind of cascading down to meet all the words, and I just felt that worked really well, so I wanted to put that in over there. I will have to move everything over to the left a little bit further, I think. Okay, so I think mostly all stuck down now, apart from a few bits and pieces. You can also see that I've backed the XO. It just wasn't sitting right with me. It just didn't look quite right against the background. Of course, you could see the heart stenciling through it, and it just didn't stand out that well because it's pink on pink, and it's by putting a darker paper in the middle worked absolutely brilliantly. So I was super happy with how that turned out. That just made it pop off the page so very, very well. I'm just putting in a couple of little flowers there. They are just mulberry flowers that I had in my stash. So I've just twisted the ends around a paper piercing tool. You can see me doing it there. To create some little spirals. I've got 1 over on the right hand cluster, I've got 2 on the left cluster, and then I come in to add all these fabulous little bits and pieces. Oh, I'm really sorry about my head. I'm just going to peel the backs off, of course, and then continue to add those into little places. Now, I wasn't too sure about using the red. Now, I actually love it in the end, but to begin with, everything was very soft pink and greys, and I didn't want to bring in a darker colour, which is why I hadn't used some of the perspective titles I had in red either. But actually, the little pops of red here and there just work brilliantly. So the little hearts are absolutely fantastic, and the little envelope as well. They're all in the XOXO kit. I love a set like this that you get one title and you get loads of little bits and pieces that all go with the title. They just absolutely work super well for me. I love them. So just tucking those in there, they work so well with the clusters. There's cherries, there's hearts, there's little envelopes. There's different styles of envelopes, so yeah, lots of little bits and pieces there, and sorry, I'm struggling to get that stuck in place, so leant forwards. Okay, so yeah, lots of little bits and pieces. Definitely love the little pop of red. I think it's fabulous. Yeah, just putting those in wherever I can. So I've got a really giant cluster over on the right hand side, and then a smaller cluster on the left. Sorry, a very large cluster on the left, yeah, I'm just adding my I love all my titles, the stack of titles working really well. Just trying to make sure that all of my perspectives actually stick in place. Now, normally I would put something heavy on them, but there's quite a lot of them on this layout, so I haven't. What I would normally do is put like a punch on top of each one, especially if they're going over different layers. So yeah, that's why I've got my glue on that over there on the left hand side, because that one is over a couple of different layers. Just with my grey journaling pen, I'm adding in some definition around some of the heart stenciling, yeah, just a few of those, picking a few of those out and adding those in. So right, nearly done. Just adding a few sequins and scattering those all over the place, over the 2 big clusters, and I'm going to get those stuck down with some glossy accents there, so you can just see me doing that there. Just gonna move them out of the way, put a little dot of glue down, and then move them back into position. Yeah, I love a bit of sparkle. I love using sequins on my layout because I love everything to sparkle, so that works really well for me. And so I've just sprinkled them over. Sometimes I get a rogue sequin that goes in the wrong place, so I do move that around, but on the whole I try to let them sit where they scatter naturally. Yeah, but I do have to move some around sometimes, of course, but I don't place each one individually. And then I need to add a few splatters of white paint, and like I said, I do need to go and do some journaling as well. But at the time I was scrapbooking with friends, and sometimes I need a bit of quiet to do my journaling, so I'm going to add that later on. Yeah, just going to add in a few splatters of white paint over the top of all of my clusters. going to avoid my titles, but going to go over the top of the clusters. I've just got a new paint shaker there, so I've just activated that, which took a few minutes, and now just adding it with a paintbrush, so picking it up with a paintbrush and splattering it over the top of those big clusters. And there we go, that is me done. So thank you very much for joining me today. Sorry for the videoing issues, but yeah, I hope that you enjoyed seeing the layout come together. I loved making it. This collection is beautiful. All of the beautiful perspectives were just ideal. The stencil is lovely. I just had a great time making this layout. So yes, thank you very much for joining me today. That was Nikki Rowland for Bramble Fox.